is real talk. If you haven't lived it, you damn sure can't talk about it. Now that's the ladies of Madison Avenue. Now let's talk.
Hi, I'm Shantae, and welcome back to another episode of the Ladies of Madison Avenue. Tonight we're going to be talking about one-night stands, and are women still being judged by men if we have one-night stands with them or sex on the first date? So we're going to kind of put those two topics together. Tonight we have Jason Buchanan, and he is going to talk to us a little bit about the subject or topic. But first I want to just ask Jason, are men still judging women for one-night stands, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I don't think so. I think gone are that era where men are looking at women any kind of ways sideways if they're not engaging in intimacy in a certain fashion.
So, I mean...
Meaning that I don't think they're still prejudging women because they're intimate with them the first night.
So do you think that if you do participate in a one-night stand,
Right.
Sometimes women have that stigma afterwards.
Right.
So as a man or men of your peers, do your peers still judge women?
Absolutely not. Not any peers that are in my circle. I mean, if a situation like that occurs, pretty much our follow-up is what's going to determine how she feels about it after that. So if we decide to call her the next day, we decide to take her out and still engage in conversation with her, it'll kind of ease that comfort level of how she felt about it.
So if you're doing it, why would you feel a way about it? I mean, that's why, to each his own, But as an adult, you make the decision to or not to. And the stigma behind it, there's a stigma behind everything, really. So it depends on the person. So that's my point of view.
I think a better question is, after a one-night stand with someone, are you more likely to call them again or just be like, yeah, I got that, and move on because that's not wifey material? Because you hit it on the first day?
That's taking it to...
I don't think it's the one-night stand part that's going to actually determine whether I call her again. What's going to determine whether I call her again is how well I enjoyed the moment.
So you're saying if it wasn't good, you wouldn't call back?
Basically, if I didn't enjoy it, I'm not going to call her back. But it has nothing to do with the fact that it happened on one night stand. Because it could have happened one night stand, or she could have gave me a 90-day rule. But if I didn't enjoy it, I'm not going to call her back.
So would you respect her any less?
Nope. Absolutely not.
I don't think so.
No, I mean, I understand his point of view. I mean, in today's world, the stigma back a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago, you are considered a hoe. Now, everybody's a hoe. I mean, to be totally honest, you do what you want to do in the timing you want to do it.
Right.
So whether male or female, because girls can do the same thing. True. There's many cases where you're like, I'm not calling him again.
So what determines the callback? How good the sex was?
No, just the person.
Conversation, the whole situation in itself. I mean, there are many situations where the woman is going to prejudge the man before he's going to prejudge her. Because more so, the woman is going to say, well, how many times have you done this before? Right. This isn't your first time. And that's what's going to engage in a whole other kind of conversation. Yes. As opposed to you both had a comfortable conversation, things led to what they led to, and then y'all take it from there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm glad you brought that point up. But what I wanted to know was, sometimes it determines based on, the chemistry or however the conversation was that day or how the date went. And oftentimes you go on a date and you don't expect to actually have a one-night stand. Sometimes you go in saying, I'm not sleeping with this guy at all, right. And then you end up having chemistry. You have a drink or two, and then you realize maybe there is some kind of attraction, both physically and mentally. But you just said that if you go in with the stigma, you end up with the stigma after. What about the fact that maybe if you do have the one-night stand, you might say, okay, I'm wondering if she's done this before. You know what I mean?
Is that crossing your mind?
That's everybody.
Me personally, I don't prejudge any situation, so I'm not going to go into it, and I'm not going to say, well, she's probably done this before.
Jason, you kind of keep your options
Yes.
open.
That's not keeping my options
I
open.
think
That's
it
just
is.
I think
me
he's trying to be
personally. I mean, I
safe.
can't speak on behalf of every other
get
man.
you.
I just know
I'm
that
with
me
you.
personally,
Exactly.
I don't prejudge anybody
I'm
else.
with you. You know,
You're one of the very few.
I guess so.
Oh, maybe
I think
he's grown
everybody
and-
judges.
Maybe you're just an adult and you feel
Exactly.
exactly.
Like I said, there are
Yeah.
certain aspects that I'll judge on, but that won't be one of them.
Well, that's good to
I mean,
know.
the same way you say, well, a woman, she's done this before. You could say that about a man. Like, he's a hoe too, because why is he, doing this?
But
Y'all
it works
expect
out
that from
worse
men.
for a
There's a
woman.
difference.
Right, but we're always, it's a double standard for
It's
us.
a big double standard
Yeah,
because
you gotta always keep. You always
Exactly.
gotta know that.
Exactly.
That's first and foremost. You can't just put yourself out there in a case where you feel uncomfortable. Then you don't. There's no reason to be judged.
At the end of the day, it takes two to tango, but it doesn't appear that way after the deed is done. You
Well,
know?
I mean, it depends on the outcome.
That's true.
If
too.
it's everybody's happy, then everybody's good.
Well, that would be good in the real world.
Shit.
How
You gotta
many
make it
men
that way.
actually marry one night stands?
Exactly.
And I don't think that number is too high.
how
Well,
many men
I
get
don't
married?
know.
I mean, I've asked a lot of men,
might-
have they had one night stands? Are they still with that person? And
I mean, a one night stand is what you make. I mean, anything is what you make it. Like, you could turn from a jump off to somebody's wife
Indeed.
in a couple of days,
Yeah,
and vice versa.
Vice versa.
You
because
can
in one
demote
night stand-
yourself
You're
in
right.
a second. I'm just saying. Climb up the hierarchy level and bust your way back down. Like, it depends. Everything depends on the situation and the person, I believe.
It becomes the communication and the attitude because, like I said, if you're not communicating in a certain aspect, then it's going to go from left to right real
Yeah,
quick.
Definitely.
Right.
I mean, I think if ahead of time, if y'all have communicated, whether y'all have ever had one night stands or whatever transpired before that, then you won't have that element after.
A common ground, really.
No, if you're having a one night stand, y'all are not sitting there discussing it beforehand. We need to communicate about what's about to go down. That doesn't happen.
There's
But
a couple
something
levels.
leads
to
to a
that.
one night stand, discussion and closeness and all that. You ain't just banging somebody and making out with them.
Well,
I mean,
the
that could happen.
definition of the one night
I mean, that could happen when your eyes
And
meet.
we
You know
hook
that all
up.
that happens.
Now
But
we meet and conversate and discuss it, and because that's dating. So if we're having a one night stand, I'm meeting you, and we're like, let's just leave. That's what I thought it was.
So that's like me going to a club and I just happen to meet somebody and then we just slide off
Yeah,
to
that's a
my
one night stand.
without talking, without
no
Well, you
communication
have
at
to say,
all.
let's go. You have to say, hi. Do you have a place we can go? I mean,
I don't know.
let's,
True.
And I think as a woman, if you're engaging in a one night stand, you're not thinking, oh, this may be my man, this may be my husband. I mean, entering in, this just may be it.
But the
So I'm
question
gonna
was
do what I wanna
really,
do.
are we being judged? That was more of my
You are.
question.
Your
So
friends
that's
judge you.
what
Everybody
that's
I
what
think
I'm trying
so.
to.
You're definitely
You
being
are.
judged.
you even judging yourself.
Right.
Exactly.
Nobody has to say anything to you. You already know, like,
But
oh,
I mean,
oh,
we just said,
like, damn it, I should have did that. You know, come on. Everybody's been there.
how
Don't
we say,
say
okay,
like that.
we're grown, we're adults, we can do what
Yes,
we want to
you
do, but you
Yes.
still have
You still be
that.
like judging yourself, like,
Like, what did I just do?
wasn't the right choice. You know, I mean, it all depends on the
Well,
person's
Deborah, tell us
situation.
how it went down. What happened?
Listen, I'm a woman. Like, I
how
can't
it goes
spill my
down?
beans. I don't know. Every time goes down differently.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Yes.
I'm just going from what I heard.
I'm just saying, every sexual encounter goes down differently.
Wow.
So,
Oh, we're going to take a little audience feedback on the topic. So we have Kareem in the audience. What do you think about that topic, Kareem?
Well, first of all, I think that one night stands is a good situation. You have to have those. For one, I mean, they just healthy. The main thing about it being healthy is the fact that if we thought about having sex, or if we thought about who we actually going to be dealing with, or when we go out, then we would never do anything. It's already a lot of sexual frustration out here that we need to ease some of that anyway. So we don't need to be thinking about who we actually going to sleep with.
it's like it's going to be my wife in 3 months.
There you go.
Not my wife in 3 months.
So you saying we overthinking
Let's
it?
make it as natural as we possibly can make
You
it.
don't know you fucked up till after.
I think it's not gonna happen.
Right there.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you don't make it happen all the time. I'm just saying that.
It only takes one time.
That's good point. Good point, Mom. You're right.
So you see nothing, as a man, do you judge a woman if she
Well, I agree with
engage?
everybody here. Yeah, I would judge
You
her.
would judge her.
You naturally judge her, you know. But I've had it happen with me where that one night stand, we was dealing with each other for 2 years.
Okay.
So you know, you had that happen too. Like the brother said, if you enjoy yourself, you know, you're gonna keep going with it. So it all depends on how much fun you have.
Okay. Anybody else have any comments?
I think that Marilyn's comment about meeting, having a drink, and hook it up. On the woman's side, that sounds very hookery.
That's what a one night stand is, hookery, to me.
No, not really. It doesn't have to be.
To me it is.
And
I
then
know.
what happens when you wake up if you wake up the next morning, if it lasts all night?
I said it's hookery. One night stands are hookery to me. There's no reason for you to just meet someone and have your legs open. That's too
I
much.
agree.
You're doing too much.
Would you ever wipe up a one night stand?
Would I have a wife for one night stand? It's possible.
He's keeping his options open.
It's possible.
He's saying if the chemistry is right or have things in
I thought
common.
I understood him to say if the sex was right.
That's what he said.
They're asking would I call back the next day, or what would prevent me from calling back the next day. And if my one night stand wouldn't be the reason why I didn't call her back. What would be the reason why I didn't call her back was how the intimacy was what I said.
That's what she did.
But but if the intimacy
Right.
wasn't up to your standards or up to par
Right.
the first night, what makes you think that it won't get better in time? She could be nervous, you could be nervous, things just ain't working right with you. Don't blame it all on the woman.
That's all possible.
We know.
I could have a bad moment.
It's possible.
So what's your point,
Highly unlikely,
Mom? What are
but
you
possible.
saying? Or Miss Yvonne, what are you saying?
She's trying to go down the piano and pick everything.
I'm saying,
How do you feel on a topic?
one night stands are very tricky. Because women are more soft and pink than men. They get emotional and their feelings get involved straight out the gate. Most men don't feel that way. Well, some do, like maybe you, Jason.
I feel soft and pink.
Yeah, and
I take that kind of weight.
no, they get soft and pink, and because you have sex with somebody the first night or the first time you meet them or whatever, they're expecting a call the next day. They're expecting a second date, a third date, and it doesn't always work
Or a
that way.
first date.
That's
They
if
actually
both
don't have
or
first
feel
date.
right, or if they both feeling each other, because one could be feeling each other and the other one could be like, this was whack.
I just did it.
So they won't get a call back.
Right, or you wake up and look over and say, what the
Plus it depends.
hell did I just do?
You might have had a one night stand and she might have been married, so you're not gonna call her the next day because it's not gonna lead anywhere.
Why would you have a one night stand with a married woman?
Look at me.
It
Why
happened.
would you even think about hooking up with a married woman?
It happened. Y'all engaged in
But
the
you know that
conversation,
she,
it was
and
good
you know
conversation.
straight out the gate that she's
My
married.
people cheat. So
But my question is, why would you
Attraction.
with a married woman?
At that moment, physical attraction.
Wow.
because people
Wow.
cheat. Sakina wants to say something.
I just think that the whole one night stand thing is kind of looked at wrong because people forget. I think everybody's basing it on tradition that people should be monogamous or married or whatever. But some people are just very promiscuous, and some of them are aware of that and they accept that with themselves, and they never even attempt monogamy. So there are men and women out there that they just like variety, and they're okay with it, and they're adults, and this is what they do. But I also want to say that one night stands can always turn into marriage or relationships because most relationships are, unfortunately, they're based on sexual attraction,
Right.
how good the sex is, and what is your financial situation. So if you have a one night stand with someone that you can get along with and their sex is good and they have a nice bank account, then
I mean, after one night, how much you know about them after one night?
if the sex is whack,
Depends on how
friends the sex is whack.
No, let's just get this out the way now.
It depends on the person, because if you have morals and you feel like, you know, that just wasn't cool, she's not the woman for me because she's loose, then no matter how good the sex was and all of that, you're not going to take her to that level, because you're like, come on, anybody could hit that. I did it.
So it's safe to
That's
say,
all.
I'm
Aaron,
just
that you
saying,
never had one night
that's
stand.
none of your business.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just saying, that's not what I do.
Okay.
Let's be clear.
But that's why they have a name for it, like swingers. This is what they do. Swingers are married sometimes too, because
know,
both
but-
of them, they are willing to be with each other and share each other's lives for the rest of their lives. But they both realize that they're whorish. So this is what we do. We're married.
They keep an
But
open
that's
We're
not
relationship.
around with
Right.
other
That's
people
not the
just like
norm.
us.
That's the
They're
norm.
whorish just like us, baby. And so we're gonna go to this party and we're gonna have sex with whoever we like.
That's
Yeah.
not
Are
the
you ready?
norm.
What
You
swingers
cannot
do?
go down the street and see swinger club. That's not the norm.
But they're underground.
That's hidden.
It's
Taboo.
There are a lot more open relationships than there are monogamy.
Yes, they are.
There are. Or it's
They
open
are.
and people just don't know they're open.
They just don't know they're open.
Why do people get married? If
cheating
y'all was
is-
saying, oh, it's okay.
Curtis wants to say something.
I was still speaking.
Go
I
ahead,
mean,
Curtis.
hi everybody. Personally, I don't believe in one night stands. I mean, I've been in that lifestyle before,
Thank you.
and for me, it's a dangerous thing because it's like it all depends on both people parties, like where pretty much where your head is at. You know, it depends on where the guy's head is at and what his intentions are, and so is the woman. You know what I mean? If you're a guy and you're not looking for something serious, it's like your mindset is, it's kind of like a hunter mentality. I just want to conquer and just get, the prey. And it's like, same thing goes with women. Some women have that mindset. And it's like, that's a dangerous situation because it's like, if you're trying to get married or be serious, you can't have that mindset. You know what I mean? You got to have some kind of moral and value. So I feel like for me, it's like, if I want to get married and have kids, I can't have that mindset because if I had that mindset, what is that woman going to think of me? She's going to think, oh, I'm doing this with X, Y, and Z and whoever. So it's like you have to have like a certain standard or certain value.
But do you think the mindset that you have, do you think that's the majority now? Because I feel
No,
like
that's
the
not the-
majority just want to swing.
Yeah,
They
that is,
just want that
unfortunately-
one night stand, or they don't want commitment. They just want to get it in and keep it moving.
Well, you really can't generalize.
I mean,
I
that
agree.
is like, unfortunately, that is the kind of society we live in. But it's like, at some point, I know for me, I had to make a personal choice. All right, there's certain places where I want to be. There's certain things that I want to do. So I had to like make a choice for myself to be like, all right, there's certain lifestyles and certain behaviors I can't indulge in no more because I'm trying to hold up to a certain standard.
Right.
And then it's
Good
like,
for you.
Can I ask a question,
That's
Curtis?
sure.
When you were in that lifestyle of one night stands, did you prejudge that woman?
I did.
Because everybody here may have had a one night stand some point in their life. That doesn't mean that they still live that way. But what we're asking is, when you were living that way, did you prejudge the woman?
Of course, and I'm pretty sure she prejudged me, and that's my point. Is that when it happens, sometimes you get into this regretful kind of phase, like, wow, that felt good, but I don't know, that was kind of, I don't feel too good.
Did
Your
that-
conscience will always come back to you.
Did that deter you from calling her again?
It will
Oh, I
deter
wanna
you
say
from calling her
something.
again. It'll change the whole scope of the relationship.
Good to
You'll feel
forget.
uncomfortable, like, wow, I can't. Yeah, we just did that, so I don't know how you
Yeah, I'm
feel.
also
And it's
running
like
right now.
the conversation is not natural no more. It's like you're screening yourself, and it's like she may be screening you. So it's like there's this edginess and there's this uneasiness, and it's like who wants that?
But
I
the
don't think-
thought
Can I say
process
something?
wasn't there.
But you know something?
It depends.
I don't really, I mean, personally, I don't think that if you're going into the mindset, you're going out with your girls one night and you say, okay, let's go out, let's party, let's have fun. I don't think that if you're just making that decision to have a one night stand, you should even be thinking about what tomorrow brings or marriage or anything, because there is no way you're going to say, okay, I would like to be with this person, and you're having a one night stand. You know what I mean? It should just be right there, right now,
Seize the
in the moment, because who is going to really marry a one night stand? No one, the guy is not looking past tomorrow. I don't think so. I definitely don't think the guy is looking past tomorrow. So if you're going in a mindset saying, I'm going out, I'm looking for a partner, I'm looking for someone, eliminate the one night stand immediately, because I don't think that has any kind of future.
If you're
That's
going
what
out
Jason
to meet
said
people,
it could.
period,
And you,
shouldn't be looking
and you,
at
and you solely
going to a
believe.
club, you going to any kind of social environment, and you go in there trying to find a husband is already gonna be your
Yeah,
wrong move.
but you solely
Why is
believe.
that?
But you,
That's not true.
That's not true. You can
You
meet
go
a
to
lot of
social
people
events
meet
to
their
interact
partners.
and engage
You
with
know, you
people.
can meet
When you go to
someone in a
church.
party or in a club or in a social surrounding. He might be
That's
out there
what
looking
I
for the
agree.
same thing. You know. And if you go out there, then most of the time when you go out there, one night stands are usually people who just came out of a serious relationship, someone who just got their heart broken, someone who's just looking to be promiscuous, someone who's just in the mood to whore. You know what I mean? No one's looking for, no one's looking for any, no one's looking for any entanglement. You know what I mean?
Or poor or promiscuous because you have a one night stand.
Oh no, you don't. But I don't think you should go in there wondering, oh, I wonder if this person is the special person.
But you don't go into a one night stand saying, Jason looks hot. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna have a one night stand with him. That's not how it works.
Oh no, but I was addressing what he said about he was saying that I basically had to change. You know, he made a decision to change because it started to get dangerous and too much for him, overwhelming because it started. You couldn't really determine whether. Well, he said something about. He said something.
Basically, you made a choice to.
You made a choice to change because you go in there, you're not knowing what's gonna happen after that and stuff like that. So I was saying you really don't know what's gonna happen. You can't go in a one night stand based on thinking about
Well, people-
tomorrow because it's a
it's
one
like-
night. It's called one night. You know,
Most
you
of these
can't think
people
about
here,
tomorrow.
it seems like we're all judging. We're saying if you have a one night stand, you're a whore.
No, I'm not saying
You know,
you're a
or
whore.
in
I
some
never
whorish
used that
ways or whatever. It
Y'all
seems like
use that
that's
word.
the.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
What
the
I'm saying
predominant
is-
consensus. This has been a very interesting topic, and we can say that you'll be judged no matter what you do. So just be safe when you're doing it, and we'll see you next week when we talk about same-sex cheating. So thanks to our guests, and thanks to the audience, and have a great night.
But it's real talk. If you haven't lived it, you damn sure can't talk about it. Now that's the ladies of Madison Avenue. Now let's talk.
This is Shantae from the Ladies of Madison Avenue. We're here with comedian David Outlaw, and we just want to know, what does he think about the one night stand?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what I think about the one night stand. A lot of people want to know how do you feel after you deal with a woman on a one night stand, and I'm gonna tell you, do I judge them? And the answer to that is, hell yeah. Yes, I do. I judge them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. If I meet you at the club, and then you feeling nice and I'm feeling nice, and and then you're gonna ask me, well, what happened? I'm like, yo, she'll jump off. She'll jump off. So, yeah, of course, but it also depends on where you meet the person. Because one thing you could have a crush on them. Now, if you have a crush on a lady, you know what I'm saying, it's a different story because you always had a crush on her. Then one time you have a nice little date, do a little dinner, and then it goes down. Now, do you think of her to jump off? Not really, because you still had a little crush on her, so you still have a little nice on her. But my thing is, don't do it, ladies, please. Don't.
Thanks, David.
But it's real talk. If you haven't lived it, you damn sure can't talk about it. Now that's the ladies of Madison Avenue. Now let's talk.